Salute Base, YouTube. All right, today we're going to be talking about Nouakchott, which is the capital city of Mauritania. And that's the pronunciation of the city. It's Nouakchott. It's pronounced just like it's spelled. And it was founded when the country of Mauritania gained independence from the French around 1960. Before the capital city was Nouakchott, the capital of all of French Africa was Saint Louis, which is a city that's now part of Senegal. But up until then, if you were from Mauritania and you had to go to the capital, you would have gone to Saint Louis. The first president of Nouakchott's name was Mokhtar Ould Dada, and he was in charge of deciding on where to put the capital of newly established independent Mauritania. And Nouakchott at the time was a very small fishing village on the coast. I think there were maybe around 15,000 people living in the town at the time. And so it seemed like a completely random choice to choose this small fishing village on the west coast to be your capital. But the reason why he did it is simple. He did it for the purposes of unification. Now, Mauritania is an extremely diverse country. The northern part of the country is dominated by a lot of Berbers and Arabs, and the southern part of the country is really more culturally influenced by sub-Saharan Africans. And so he wanted to pick a location. Mokhtar Ould Dada, he selected the city of Nouakchott based on location. He wanted to bring together these two sort of spread out cultural influences in an effort to unite what was a very diverse country. You know, it's a problem that a lot of African nations faced after independence, because the European countries had drawn the border lines so arbitrarily that you had many disparate social groups within a single country. So it was up to the first leaders after independence to do what they could to unite these very diverse elements. So that's why Mokhtar Ould Dada chose Nouakchott as the capital for Mauritania. Nouakchott is a very quiet city, and it's probably the safest city I've ever lived in. I just never see crime here. I know that there's petty theft that happens a lot here, but it really is a very, very safe city. Everyone is very polite, usually very friendly, very generous, and they'll help you out. If you have an issue trying to find something, people will take time out of their day to help you get to where you need to go or help you get what you need. And it is a very quiet city. At night, all you hear really is the occasional honking of cars, and that's about it. It's a very, very quiet city for as many people as that actually live here. As I mentioned before, this is a city that has many various cultural influences in it. All right, so you have a culture that has a lot of influence in the city is Moorish culture, which is where the name Mauritania comes from. It comes from the term land of the Moors. So Moors form the dominant sort of cultural group here in the city of Nouakchott, but you also find a lot of Wolof here. You find a lot of Halpulaar or Fulbe people here. You find a lot of people that are Soninke here. Some Bambara. So you have a very diverse group of influences, and the city and the country itself is almost equally influenced by the Berbers to the north in North Africa, and the various cultures that you find here that are from sub-Saharan Africa. It's almost a perfect 50-50 blend between these two between these particular cultural influences. Islam is really the great cultural unifier here. Everybody is Muslim here. In fact, to be an actual citizen with voting rights and property rights here in Nouakchott and here in Mauritania, you must be a Muslim. This is a completely Muslim country, and religion plays a big role in day-to-day life here. There are plenty of mosques here. I'm going to show you a video of the mosque that was built by Saudi Arabia here. And this is one of the major landmarks that you find here in Nouakchott. And we're coming up on Tabaski. I'm actually recording this. This is Tabaski Day here in Nouakchott, which is one of the big religious holidays here. So religion plays a huge role. On Friday, when it's time to go to the mosque, everything around the city is closed. The shops are closed from around 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. You can't get into a grocery store. You can't get into a clothing store. You can't do anything because you're supposed to be in the mosque. So everything is closed here from the hours of 2 to 4 p.m. The identity of the city is really interesting here. You have to remember it's such a young city that people really don't feel that tied to the city. In fact, if you ask somebody that was born here in Nouakchott, if you ask them where they're from, they'll most likely tell you the village that their family is originally from. No one here, or I should say very few people here, actually consider themselves native to Nouakchott. Everybody holds ties back to those towns and villages that they came from originally. There's very few people here that will tell you, no, I'm from Nouakchott and my family's from Nouakchott originally. So you have to remember, in 1960, at the time of independence, there were maybe 15,000 people living here originally. There's a severe drought that hit the Sahara, and it killed off a lot of the grassland there. So the nomads that were herding their animals there, or the people that were living off the land there, they found that they were no longer able to continue with this lifestyle due to the drought. So they moved to the city, where the ground is a bit more green here. You can grow things more, and there's just more opportunity here. And that's why the city, even now, continues to expand. As that desert continues to expand, the city of Nouakchott itself is going to continue to swell in population. Well, you might ask, so what do people do here for fun, for recreation? Well, if you're a boy or a young man, a lot of people around here choose to play soccer, as is true in many places around the world. They do have beautiful beaches here in Nouakchott. Now, these beaches are a little bit far from the actual center of the city, but many people go to the beach. I like to spend weekends on the beach. They're just gorgeous beaches, some of the best beaches that you'll find here in Africa. And there's also if you want to watch live music, there's one place here that you can really count on watching live music regularly, and it's Institut Français, which is adjacent to the French embassy. And usually before COVID-19, usually you can count on at least once a month there being a pretty good concert there at Institut Français.
Xam naa su ma doon jaay yaa may jënd am sama jënd di yow rek a ma miin. Xam naa su ma doon jaay yaa may jënd am sama jënd di yow rek a ma miin.
People do eat out in restaurants a lot. You will find a lot of traditional sort of Western styled restaurants here in the city, and people always have social engagements. There are always weddings to go to. There are always naming ceremonies to go to. There are all sorts of these social events that you can attend here in Nouakchott. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed the video, just giving you a brief overview of the capital city here in Mauritania, which is Nouakchott. I'll see you next time, inshallah.